Alright, fellow Slayers, time to take a look at the next episode, which is Life Serial. Buffy returns for a meeting with Angel, implying that it didn't go well but refuses to reveal any details. Instead, the Scoobies discuss Buffy's future plans. Not knowing what she wants to do in life, Buffy agrees to audit the classes Willow and Tara are taking until the next semester starts. Excuse me. The trio prepare for their competition to test Buffy, setting up their van with high-tech monitoring equipment. However, the three get into an argument with Andrew paints a decal with the second Death Star on the side, since it's supposed to keep low-key. At UC Sunnydale, Buffy finds herself overwhelmed by a class she takes with Willow. Buffy later meets up with Tara for art appreciation class. Before it begins, Warren takes her with a tiny device that causes her to move very slowly in time. Servano seems to be moving fast forward. Buffy misses class and is dazed as the world whizzes around her. When she finally notices the device planted on her, it self-destructs, putting Buffy back in normal time. Later, Buffy decides to get a job and Xander pulls some strings to get her a job as part of his construction team, starting with the time situation at the university before she introduces to Tony, the boss. Although stronger than the other workers, she wakes up at a person which starts to power her through the work since the crew is being paid by the hour. From the trio's van, Ender summons three demons, which trash the construction site before Buffy kills them. Xander explains to Buffy that she brought her Slayer work to his job, and that he's now have to find a way to explain this mess to his clients, so he fires her. Buffy learns about working the magic box from Giles and Anya as Jonathan begins casting a time loop spell. Buffy sees a man with a candle sale and then goes downstairs to fetch an ancient mummy hand for a second customer. The hand attacks Buffy and she's forced to kill it, and she also kills the sale. The event starts to repeat themselves as Buffy must satisfy the customer on dealing with the mummy hand. If she fails, the events reset when the customer walks into the store. But Buffy becomes increasingly agitated, even breaking Joss's glasses and crying in another. After several loops, Buffy manages to end the spell by promising the customer they'll deliver the mummy hand directly to her instead. Although Joss convinces Buffy on making her for a sale, Anya reminds her that she didn't charge extra for the item's delivery and decides to take the money out of Buffy's pay. Buffy quits and leaves the store as the trio keeps score. That night, Buffy gets struck with Spike in his crib. To get more alcohol and investigate her attacks, Buffy goes with Spike to a bar where he plays kid and poker with a group of demons. The poker game ends badly and Buffy leaves the bar. Outside, Buffy rants to Spike about the new low her life has reached with her inability to understand school or get a decent job. Meanwhile, the trio gets into an argument over who has the best James Bond, who was the best James Bond, and accidentally tripped the horn, which plays the theme tune to Star Wars. Buffy Spike knows the black van that she realizes has been at all the events of the day. The trio knows Buffy approaching with alarm. The demonic creature then appears from behind the van and threatens Buffy, but is beaten by a starring drunken kick from its slayer while the van drives away. With use of smoke to confuse Buffy and Spike, the creature runs away, transferring back into Jonathan when he catches up with the van. At home, Buffy begins to recover from a drunken state and complains to Giles about her life. He consoles her and offers her a check to help pay for all the expenses. Buffy is glad and says that knowing he's always going to be there for her makes her feel safe. As she leaves the bedroom, Jonathan's smile fades into a worried expression. Ooh. So let's take a look at some continuity surrounding this episode. A meeting between Buffy and Angel takes place immediately before this episode, between the corresponding angels Carpe Noctem and Fredless. The Scooby Gang will speculate Buffy and Angel's meeting in the dubious canon comic reunion. Buffy mentions leaving school when her mom got sick, says she missed a deadline to re-enroll due to her health and the gift. She shows interest trying to re-enroll next semester, although she will once again miss the deadline. The demon Clement appears for the first time playing kid and poker. Although he is noticeably more hostile towards Buffy and Spike, Clem befriends them in the Scoobies and older and far away. Jonathan's phrase, "let the spell be ended," was used by Willow in the replacement. Caspian uses food for evil beings was first introduced in the Buffy the Vampire Slayer film, as all those pics went up while mentioning he was off to have a snack. The game of kid and poker is shown for the first time. Speckle problems Onikins and Tabula Rasa and will eventually rescue 7 cats from a game in Love Dares You Part 1. Warren suggests Andrew might be gay after showing homophobic tendencies when refusing to hold hands. Andrew will eventually come out as gay in Love Dares You Part 1. Interesting. So let's take a look at some production notes from this episode. It had a production number 6ABB05. The title of this episode is a pun on the breakfast cereal Life. Danny Strong has revealed that when Jonathan drops his magic bone, he made a rousing gesture that Lily Tomlin did to him on Big Business. Tomlin would make the gesture to him and Adam Bush on set as an inside joke, so Strong decided to use it. James Tillery talked about the kittens. Quote, I actually have to deal with about 12 kittens on a table when for some of this scene we were raised above the floor to get proper eye lines, so the table was about 2 feet off the ground and the kittens kept trying to go off the table. It was difficult. You don't want to let them fall. So you're in the middle of this dialogue scene trying to remember your lines and now look at the camera and you're like, oh, there goes a kitten, there we go. So it was an effort trying to wrangle the kittens and keep them on the table. It was so crazy because there were 12 to 14 of them that would just keep interchanging all day long on the set. Meow, meow, meow. Cut. We have kittens meowing. They were from the SPCA, so everybody on set wanted to take one home. I can't. My wife's allergic to cats, so that solved that problem. End quote. Mark Ginther, who portrays Jonathan's demon form in this episode, also portrayed the dealer head demon in The Prodigal and Lasovic in The Ring. And now let's take a look at some pop culture references. Enter sprays a mural of the Death Star from Return of the Jedi on the side of the trio's van, and the van's horn plays the main Star Wars theme. When Warren plants a time dilation on Buffy, he uses the codename Logan 5, a reference to the 1976 film Logan's Run. Buffy opens Tara's book on a page with a picture of the 17th century sculpture Ecstasy of St. Teresa. Tara makes reference to watching SpongeBob SquarePants with Willow during Buffy's speed problems at college. Andrew references the Star Trek Next Generation episode where the Empire kept blowing up, which was cause and effect. Warren notes the X-Files episode in which the bank kept exploding. There's a reference to Monty Python's Flying Circus in the time loop where one of the villains misquotes, "This is an ex-mummy hand," a take on the famous parrot sketch. The bar storage has boxes of the brands Tanqueray Gin, J&R Rare Whiskey, Bacardi Rum, and the beers Dos Equis, Sol, and Tectade. The trio argue over actors who play James Bond. Warren prefers Sean Connery, Jonathan prefers Roger Moore, and Andrew likes Timothy Dalton. They discuss about License to Kill, but Warren says that Moonraker was inexcusable. And now finally, let's take a look at some goofs. In the widescreen version of the episode, the crew member is visible to the left behind Xander and Buffy as they talk at the construction site. When Warren takes out Jonathan's magic bone, he's only holding it with his left hand. When Jonathan demands, "Stop touching my magic bone," right after, the bone is being held by both his right and left hands. During the scene with Buffy and Xander when they are walking up to the foreman, talking about the exploding lint, you can see a crew member trying to light the diffuser off behind Xander. When the trio is in the van, you can see the reflections of the camera crew with the binocular lens and the van's windows. So I think this episode is kind of interesting, and yeah, it kind of sucks that Buffy's trying to get her life back together. It's not going so well for her, so yeah. So overall, I give Life cereal 4 vampire steaks out of 5. Wait, tune in bits. We took the final episode of the day all the way. So, until then, here endeth the lesson.